It's if you're getting auditions and you're regularly being seen. So if you're being brought back regularly by certain casting directors, or, we're putting you out to new casting directors and they're bringing you in and we're watching your tapes and they're great and we're getting feedback, and um, then I think that's a good thing. Are you booking roles? No, then we have to look at why that's happening. Maybe we look at, getting you into a class or a new class, or we've got to kind of do a deep dive on what's going on. But yeah.
I mean, I think it's different for everybody, especially when you've got a roster of, everything that ranges from, top tier experienced people to, non-union, young, have only just been in the industry. So the measurement of success is going to be different for everybody. And I think, part of the agent relationship is, again, with communication, is setting, sights for yourselves every year, touching base, saying, okay, these are some of the goals I want to hit. And are we achieving those goals? And like Amy said, I think one of the best barometers for an actor is, are you being seen by the same casting director for the same project even?
Welcome to Inside the Audition, the podcast where we go behind the scenes for a deep dive look into the world of auditions. I'm Joe Lars Larson, creator of Actors Audition Club, an international community helping actors book your dream roles in TV, film, and theater.
And I'm Brandon Knox, actor, producer, and co-host. Each episode, we chat with actors and industry professionals to share their audition experiences, insights, and advice.
We provide actors with actionable tips, strategies, and resources to help you elevate your auditions.
We demystify the often intimidating and misunderstood world of auditions to help you succeed.
So whether you're just starting out on your acting journey or you're a seasoned pro, join our Actors Audition Club members as we go
Inside the Audition.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Actors Audition Club's monthly workshop. Today, we've got a workshop with a panel of top talent agents. We're going to talk about how to build a stronger relationship with your agent. A couple housekeeping things. You can keep your cameras on, you can keep them off, up to you. Please stay muted so it doesn't get so we don't get a crazy cacophony of noise here throughout the session. We are recording it too, so if you do have to dip at some point, we can make the recording available. However, I just want to let everyone know, if you do stick around to the end, any of our actor guests who are joining us who aren't members of Actors Audition Club, at the end, we're going to let you know how you can get a special offer to get a free coach and shoot session with one of our performance coaches here at Actors Audition Club to help you shoot your next self-tape. And for those of you who are new to Actors Audition Club, if you don't know what we do, we help professional actors rehearse and shoot standout auditions so that they can hit tight deadlines and ultimately book lead roles in their dream project. So that's what we do. And every month we do a special workshop. This month's theme is the agent Q&A to help you shoot, or to help you develop a stronger relationship with your agent. But every month is different. Sometimes we're working with casting directors, producers, industry guests. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to get started here. I think we can get started right away. No more further ado. Unless anyone wants more ado, we will get started without further ado. I want to welcome our fantastic guests here. So thankful and grateful for the three of you for joining us. I know your schedules are crazy busy. Probably the hour that you're here, you're going to miss 1,000 emails. So we won't keep you too long. We want to get you back to work. But first, a quick intro, and maybe let us know why you're in the business and what you love the most about your job, and why you do this. We'll start with Bella Grundy from the Bella Agency. Hello, Bella.
Hey, sorry, just dealing with a quick phone call here.
She's booking. You want us to come back to you? We can come back.
So yeah, really, honestly.
Currently booking a job. Thank you, Bella. Yes.
Okay.
Let's skip ahead to Carolyn Sterling from Grand Wave Entertainment.
Hi. Yeah. A little bit, I guess, about why I love my job. And I really do love my job. It may sound, a little hokey to say, but I absolutely love helping aspiring actors to achieve those goals and achieve their dreams. It's really important, I think, that actors have a strong, supportive, base of somebody that they can rely on, somebody that they're communicating with, and somebody that they can trust to help them build the career that they eventually want. And it's just really gratifying and really rewarding to be a part of seeing those dreams come true.
Amazing. Yes, and I can attest to that. We work with a lot of your clients here at Actors Audition Club, and you're always very generous with your feedback and your comments and your communication, and you're always giving actors honest feedback. If you think it's outstanding, you let them know. If you think they missed the mark, you let them know as well. Although the second category is very rare, but I see how much you care for your actors on your roster. So thank you for that. Amy Hines from Hines Management, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, and I think same for me. I think that's why agents do what we do. That's why we're on this side of the camera and not the other side. We like, it's rewarding for us to watch our actors, go through all these progressions, like, from the actor role to the principal role to getting a lead role. Like it's very rewarding and exciting to watch and to be a part of that journey as well. And just to be a part of it and just watching them on screen and seeing them in commercials, you're like, oh my gosh, that's my actor. Seeing them, on the red carpet at Sundance, like it's so exciting and rewarding.
Right. Amazing. Thank you. And thank you again for taking the time to be here. And we'll go back to Bella, fresh off cutting a deal here.
Yeah. That was Hollywood. No, it wasn't. So what was the question?
Question was, what do you like most about what you do?
Oh, I really like the creative aspect of the industry. I love the actors, and the process of training really fascinates and interests me because it's one of the high arts. It's one of the high art forms, just like dance, music, and it's storytelling to the highest degree. So I really like seeing actors transform themselves, especially after they've been taking class and studying, and just to watch that progression, I find very, very fulfilling and satisfying. The other thing I like about my job is I'm my own boss. So.
Yes, that's great.
That's really great.
Yeah. And I can attest to you're an artist yourself, and you're always training yourself. You're always attending classes. We were recently at a workshop that some of us on this call were at too. So I love that you're always learning and you're always growing, and you're really you're in it. You're in the thick of it with us. So it's great. All right. Let us know, actors who are on the call right now. I just want to gauge your situations. If you currently have an agent, just type a letter A. If you're self-represented or seeking representation, throw an S. I think the bulk of people on here do have representation, so this is more about how to build a stronger partnership. Maybe at the end of the call, for those of you who don't have a current agent, we might ask some questions on how you would approach a new agent, what new agents are looking for, and how to do that most effectively. So let's jump into some of the questions here. First question, in any relationship, communication is going to be a key to making that relationship a success. So how do you prefer that actors communicate with you regarding auditions, feedback, any general updates, do's and don'ts, pet peeves, that kind of thing? I'll open it up to Carolyn first. And for the interest of time, I'll ask the question to one agent, and then if there's anything that wasn't covered that either the other two want to add, and then we'll just rotate through rather than getting duplicate answers. So Carolyn, communication, talk to us about that.
I mean, it's got to be the foundation of the entire relationship, right? As most relationships are, but communication, I think, between an agent and their actor is vital. I mean, it can be something as simple as when I send a self-tape or an audition request out, having that urgent or immediate response, letting me know that they've received the information, letting me know whether they have any questions about the audition. that communication needs to be, quick, and it needs to be concise, and it needs to be every single time. That is, foundational to the relationship, in my opinion. There'll be the odd instance where if there's something uber urgent, I'll email it to somebody and I'll follow it up with a text or a phone call if I feel like it's something that's, overly complicated that they need to prepare. I'll give them a call and walk them through it. But just being available, I think, and having your eyes on your email and text. And I mean, I think we're all loath to say, let's keep our phones in our hands 24 hours a day. But, when we're talking about this business that does move at the speed of light, missing those key details and missing an email in a timely manner can cost you the job. It can cost you the opportunity to prepare properly. It can cost you even just the audition if casting doesn't hear back in, an adequate amount of time. So I urge all of our clients, and, I'm happy to say that they're all very good at it in responding in a timely manner, just to let me know that they've received a message and are working on it. And then I would say, in the broader scope, in terms of communication, making sure that we're on the same page. And that can be something along the lines of a talent letting me know, I want to be seen for this project, or these are the types of roles, or these are the types of projects I want to be going out for. Making sure that they're communicating that to me so that it's not a surprise when I send them an audition for XYZ and they say, well, I didn't want to do that anymore, or I don't want to be seen for this project, or I feel like I'm better in this role rather than that role. Communicating those things ahead of time so that it's not a surprise is, again, key to building the trust and building the relationship.
Great. And one of the things you said there was just the idea of like message sent, message received, even if it's just a quick, like, got it, received. Got it. Like that's all you're looking for.
That's it. That's all I need.
Yeah. Anything else, Amy or Bella, that you guys would like to add regarding communication?
Yeah, just expanding on that a little bit. It's a partnership, right? Like, we're working together. And so, like, if I'm working harder on your career than you are, that's a problem. If you're working harder than I am, that's a problem. So it needs to be a partnership, and both people need to be on the same page. And yeah, like, the worst thing is like sending someone out for an audition that's just relatively new to the roster. And then they're like, oh, I'm going away, I forgot to tell you. I'm like, I should have known that. Like, that's something that is really important that I should have known when you joined the roster. I feel like, we shouldn't get surprises, because then we have to go back to casting and be like, oh, sorry, they're not available now. And they're like, okay, well, then why was he submitted? So it comes back poorly on us. And it's like, well, if I had known, I wouldn't have sent him. So it's very much a partnership and working together and being, like Carolyn said, on the same page about everything.
Love it. Bella, anything extra?
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, I agree with all of that too. Quick responses are really important. I've had, some clients not get back to me till the next day, and it's too late. Guess what? You just missed it. Forget it. And I just have to be that harsh sometimes, because it's like, you're not understanding how this business works. I feel like I wish that actors understood all of the steps. If they understood all of the steps and all of the people involved, it would really clean up a lot of issues. But I'm not sure where to teach that, except one by one, by going through every situation with an actor. I love, computer's the best for me, because I can respond when I have a second. I don't like phone messages anymore. I mean, really, the industry used to be phone. Well, it used to be fax, and then it was phones, and now it's not really phones. I kind of miss talking to casting directors on the phone, because that was a really great way of keeping the relationship going, using that opportunity to push a client for something. Hey, by the way, you know what? I really think you need to see, Lars or whatever, because, but they don't, it just doesn't happen anymore. It's all email. So it's become a different beast. That's for sure. I'm right. Sure, Amy, I know, I'm probably same with you, Carolyn.
It's really different. And all of the auditions are kind of coming into us now as opposed to just sending them out and that's it. They all come back to you. So it's definitely, a lot more. And like having the actors on side with all of that and keeping them, there's like so many where people are like, not so many, but I feel like more often than I'd like. And when they're like, oh, sorry, I wrote the due date down wrong. And so they missed the due date. And it's like, okay, well, you've got to really be on top of your calendar and you've really got to be really proactive with, when something is due, and don't send it in 10 minutes before it's due, because how am I going to give you feedback at that time? Right. Like if there's
or even how are you going to get it? I mean, I've had that happen so much recently, and I've been really addressing that. Is you have to give me more than a 10-minute turnaround, because we're spinning plates over here all the time, and I might have like 10 people I'm trying to get up by that 10 a.m. deadline. So if you're giving it to me with no turnaround, sorry, guess what? I'm busy too. And I don't mean that to be mean, but just the reality of it is, and also I say to my clients is like, why is this coming in so late? Because you have to think about it in terms of who's watching all these tapes, right? So if your tape's one of the first ones in, maybe the casting director or their assistants, well, they have fresh eyes. They're maybe making a pile of yeses or a pile of no's before they give it to the casting director. And their eyes are going to get tired. Their pile of yeses is already getting big. And then yours comes in at the end. Well, guess what? Nah, forget it. Fuck it. I've seen a million of them already.
Well, and inevitably, that's exactly what happens. I mean, especially with the US network projects. We had several clients going out for a series in Montreal that was filming, and casting told me right off the bat, we're going to give you a deadline, but get them in as soon as possible, because we start making decisions as they come in. And if they want to be considered before an American, they have to get in fast. So what I always tell my clients is, send it to me no later than this time. And I usually make sure that time includes a little bit of a buffer for me to, give some kind of feedback. Inevitably there's always going to be a straggler here and there, but I think it is just coming. It's par for the course, I think, in the industry right now. Exactly what you said, Bella. The first one in is the first one seen. I don't know why any actor would wait until 10 minutes before a deadline to send their tape, giving their agent no opportunity to review and give them any kind of feedback. And inevitably, you're going to be coming in with an onslaught of hundreds of other tapes, if not thousands. Right. So get yourself organized, get yourself, your materials together, and get them in as soon as you can.
Yeah, because we're sitting here.
I'm waiting.
We are,
watching the tapes come in.
Yeah.
But a lot of that stuff, a lot of the series leads and like the lead roles and stuff, it usually goes out to LA first. And so we're often like the second to get it. And half the time I feel like I find out that the agents in LA got the script, but in Canada, we don't have a full script. And casting says, oh no, sorry, there's no script available. Yeah. Okay, well, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, you got to make friends with an agent in LA who will give it to you.
Yeah.
Right. Well, those are great notes. So you hear that, actors, get it in early, earlier the better. Also, I mean, Bella, you mentioned that you're busy. You're also a human being, so you might have to have a lunch or have a personal life occasionally too. So
what's lunch?
Who's eating? I need to know.
Right.
We snack.
Patricia Yateman in the chat, she asked, tell us where these agents are located. Bella, Carolyn, and Amy are all based in Toronto, but you represent people and submit for projects all over.
All across Canada, and we've got a couple of clients who are LA based and New York based as well.
Right.
Same.
Beautiful. Let me go to a next question. This was kind of a follow-up question to communication that came in. Should we as actors keep it purely professional and industry related when in conversation with our agents, or is it okay to talk about personal things too?
Oh, I feel like we're half like social workers.
Therapists.
Therapists, right. Yeah, we really are. And I think it's important that we know what's going on in your life, because if there's I see something going on with the tape, I'm like, that's not their usual work. It's good for me to know that. Or, if you're going through a particularly, troublesome, thing in your life, I'm not going to be slamming you with tapes because I think that's just going to push you and, overwhelm you. So, sometimes we can have 4 or 5 scripts given in one single day to someone, and it's like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So if there's something really big going on in your life, we need to know about that because we want to be sensitive to what's going on.
100%. I mean, look, it can be something as easy as we're starting a family. I'm going to start showing, that kind of stuff. Absolutely tell your agent because we're going to notice as well. But I mean, I think it's just the nature of this business. I mean, you look at some of these acceptance speeches, for example, at awards shows, and actors are thanking their managers and agents of 20 years, 30 years. They've been with me from the beginning. That isn't just a strictly professional relationship. At some point, you're going to start to have a friendly banter. And I think that there is a fine balance between, too friendly and them, maybe taking advantage of that in whatever capacity. But I do think that it's such an important and vital relationship in your career. We're not just the person who's working with you to get you auditions. We are building a life and a career together. So inevitably there's going to be, friendly banter. I would say, at your discretion and depending on how long you've known the person. And, definitely I would say let the agent guide how friendly it gets. But I think there's nothing wrong with letting them know personal matters that are going on with you that might be relevant to your career.
Yeah, and as well, absolutely, and as well, not even like if hard, if you're going through hard times, but if things are good as well. Like the more I know about my clients, like it can be a matter of, you know what, I just saw this incredible movie that absolutely blew my mind, and here's what it was. Like I will have that conversation because then I know more about you. It makes it easier for me to submit you for things because then I'll go, oh, right, they just did. And it's like, oh, perfect. Oh, right. He rides a motorcycle and speaks Spanish. This is brilliant, because you can't keep it all in your head. So I find that's, it is. And it's a personal business. And in Canada, we're agent managers, whereas in the States, it's 2 separate things and they do separate things. I feel like in Canada, we're more managers because it is hands-on. Really is relationship. Yeah, we take care of the contracts and all that kind of, boring math stuff. But really, the reason why we do this, or I'm sure I know Amy well, is because we love the people. And we believe that you're also incredibly brave. And I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and just to add to that too, I do, that's why social media is good too, because you find out more about people, right? So I didn't know that someone likes to cook and they have all these cooking videos. So, the next time a breakdown comes out and they needs to have knife skills for cooking, I know exactly because I've seen that. I've seen them in action. And so I think for social media, it's really good to kind of put out your special skills because I think that really helps us get to know you as well.
That's a great tip. Yeah, your agents, your managers, and I know the 3 of you in a way, your mothers as well. to all of your actor babies.
Yeah.
I want to just spin off that your note about social media here. There was a question. Where was it here? Building a strong online presence is becoming increasingly important in the business. How can actors leverage social media and other digital platforms to enhance visibility and attract potential opportunities? Any tips there? Anything you're seeing that's working?
Can I be honest? And I don't know if this is maybe the experience that Bella and Amy have had, but I don't find that social media presence has the significant benefit that it does if you're American. I think that social media following, high numbers, yada, yada, those are things that American producers, American casting are more likely to be attuned to or take an interest in. And I'm speaking from, very relevant experience. We've had some clients and have some clients who have quite high social media following, and it just doesn't seem to be tracking. It's not opening the doors that I think people think it does. I would say for a stand-up comic, yes, having huge numbers and a big following and big engagement can help you book live gigs. And when you're going out on the road, I mean, Lars, you're going to know, like, yeah, it helps to prove to that producer of that show that you can bring butts into seats. But I just don't think casting directors are going, oh, look, there's a built-in audience. Maybe I should bring this person in for this role in the way that I think we would hope. And, I don't know if that's just me, but that's been my experience.
I agree. I don't think that's, I think they're more apt to look at your IMDb rating than they are your social media following.
Exactly. Agreed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And just one other note about social media, be careful what you're putting out there. I mean, people are going to do a social media check if they're hiring you for a campaign, or, there's certain TV shows that they want to do a background check on you, and they're going to go through your social media. Don't let that shoot you in the foot. You've got to really be careful with what content you're putting out there and making sure that you're in a good light and not, falling down doing shots and whatever.
Yeah. No blackout drunk photos
Right.
if you're auditioning for the next Disney show.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Great note.
And we'll see that in breakdowns now too. Is like, get ready because we're going to deep dive
Yep.
on social media. So it's like, okay, all right, good to
Right.
note. Do we see it in breakdowns for film and TV? Like, Carolyn, I think you're right. Like, you don't see it very often. Only if they're really specifically looking for somebody who's like an influencer. I can't even say that word without gagging.
We are specifically looking to do like cameo casting, and we need an influencer.
Right.
But otherwise, I would say, look, if you want to have your like blackout drunk profile where you and your friends go nuts every weekend, make that a private account, and then make yourself an actor account. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we have plenty of clients who have their sort of personal stuff for what they use with friends and family, and then they've got their professional stuff where all they post are their headshots and their reel. And sure, that's great to have, but truthfully, I don't know that casting and producers are going there with the specific intent of learning more about you. They're coming to your agent asking for that material.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. We've got another question here. How do you evaluate the success of your partnership with your roster, and what steps can both parties take to continuously improve and grow together in the industry?
For me, it's if you're getting auditions and you're regularly being seen. So if you're being brought back regularly by certain casting directors, or, we're putting you out to new casting directors and they're bringing you in, and we're watching your tapes and they're great and we're getting feedback, and then I think that's a good thing. Are you booking roles? No, then we have to look at why that's happening. Maybe we look at, getting you into a class or a new class, or we've got to kind of do a deep dive on what's going on. But yeah.
I mean, I think it's different for everybody, especially when you've got a roster of, everything that ranges from, top tier experienced people to, non-union, young, have only just been in the industry. So the measurement of success is going to be different for everybody. And I think part of the agent relationship is, again, with communication, is setting, sights for yourselves every year, touching base, saying, okay, these are some of the goals I want to hit, and are we achieving those goals? And like Amy said, I think one of the best barometers for an actor is, are you being seen by the same casting director for the same project, even over and over and over again? I tell my clients all the time, that is the best indication that you are making an impact with that casting director. If they want to see you over and over again, they think there's something there and they want to see you succeed. that isn't to say that if you're seen by a casting director once in a blue moon, that it's a bad thing. But I think that in this industry, when there's, like we said at the beginning, so little, immediate contact with casting directors now, and they're literally reviewing thousands of tapes, they're not reaching out every single time to say, oh, I really like Tom's audition. Keep at it. They're just not doing that anymore. So I think the indication is, did they bring Tom in again? Did they bring him in a third time? Then they like Tom.
Yeah.
Tom's doing the right thing.
And there's your feedback right there.
Yeah.
Feedback, that's your feedback.
Yeah.
Really.
It's really tough to get
Insane.
feedback these days. I mean,
Oh.
some casting directors are great and others
Sure.
like nothing. It's really frustrating. And because it'll only help us to help our clients if we get that feedback. And some are really good, like I said, and some they just don't have the time. And I get it. I mean, look how many tapes they're putting out there, right? Like,
Oh,
they
yeah.
I mean, I'm only watching a fraction of the tapes they're getting. I can't even imagine.
I know.
You just can't even imagine, and and I wish that actors would get more of a sense of the business of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That would be
gauge your
really good.
success not on the immediate bookings. It's, do you feel like you are making strides personally? Do you feel like you're getting seen for bigger roles? Do you feel like the training you're doing is opening up something in your mind that you're, attributing to a better performance? Those are the marks of success and improvement.
Totally agree.
Yeah, and I'd like to say one thing, if I may, about that is,
Please.
I get a lot of times, when they, your actors come to you and things aren't happening or moving, and you give them suggestions, but they don't take it. And I go, okay, well, you didn't use the photographer that I suggested that I like, and I've given you all the reasons why I like them, and I've showed you all the examples. And I've answered your questions about how do you like to learn when we're thinking about suggesting different classes. It's not just, oh, take this class. It's like different classes are right for different types of people, depending on what it is that you want to learn. Do you want that relationship with the camera, or you're looking to just dig deeper into a character and how to, formulate it? Or are you, as you said, Carolyn, there's actors up here and actors that are brand new. So that would be a different type of learning thing. So part of our experience as agents is, my God, we've dealt with them all. We've seen a million tapes from them all. We've heard feedback from them all. And sometimes we even have showed up and watched how they teach so that we know, so we can suggest to our clients, you know what? I think this would be a really good match for you. And then the next thing you know, they've gone with someone else, and you're like, oh, all right. Okay, so why am I here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, you don't have to do every single thing I say. This isn't
Nope.
a dictatorship, but I'm making these suggestions based on years, decades of experience. I know
Yes.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
We've got a question here that came in. Says, curious, back in the days when a role calls for a certain ethnicity, as long as they look the part, you could submit them, given that there's no specification on the need for a particular accent or language. Have you found that the climate has changed and that nowadays your client actually need to be the specified culture/ethnicity, or is it still a fairly open game? As long as you have the look, you submit them for it?
No, no, you have to authentically be whatever culture, ethnicity they are asking for. No question, because they are going to follow up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had the same thing where we've put them out for a certain North African, and they actually, casting director called me and said, now what actual part of North Africa are they from? Where's the grandma from? Where's the mom from? Where's the dad? Like, I had to do a whole deep dive on the whole
Yeah.
family to
Yeah, I
find
had
out,
to
where
Yeah.
they're all from, because it's a lot more for us too, right? Because we're like, okay, well, I know from my initial meeting that they're from this general area, but they really want specifics.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so if the breakdown, or if they're saying specifically this is what they want, then we know it's what they want. If they're just saying we want BIPOC, okay,
Mhm.
that's more
Yeah.
open-ended. You can have that nice, Mediterranean look.
Mhm.
But if they're very specific, they write it all out what they're looking for.
Hmm.
You just have to read it.
Yeah.
You just have to read it and it's all there.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Here was a question. This one's interesting. I find that quite a lot of actors are sometimes afraid of their agent. And I know these agents and they're lovely people, as demonstrated by the three of you today. How do you as an agent make sure your actors are not afraid of you? And how do you balance giving them career advice and direction versus not overpowering them or leaving room for autonomy?
Well, who's to say we don't want them to be afraid? No, that's awful. And I mean, look, we've had our fair share of clients come to our roster with that very complaint, like, oh, I was so afraid to pick up the phone because I didn't want to get yelled at or I didn't want to waste anyone's time. I don't know who these people are. I just cannot fathom that type of toxic relationship. And I would say to anybody, if you are truly scared to the point where you don't think you can pick up the phone and call your agent with a question or a problem because you're afraid of getting yelled at, then you should reevaluate that relationship. I mean, look, I'm not coddling, I'm not holding hands, I'm not, I think there's a real fine balance to ensure that somebody understands this is a business, we're doing a job, but we all need to be kind and friendly to each other. So I think an ounce of understanding and compassion when somebody's struggling goes a real long way in this business.
I would think too that you would get that vibe in your initial meeting. Like if you're in that initial meeting, you should feel some sort of warmth from the person that you're meeting, and if, the hairs on the back of your neck are going up during that meeting, I think that might be a red flag that maybe that person isn't going to be the warm and fuzzy person that you might want to deal with.
Yeah.
So I feel like that should probably come out before. Like, why would you sign with that agent then if you were getting
getting a hanky feeling? You want your agent to be a bulldog with the producers, not with you,
right?
Yeah, and then and there's a time to be really straightforward. Like I'm all for straightforward. There's no fluffing around. There's just not time for it anymore. But I'm a good person, so I'm creative and I'm interested in you. So it's but there is a time when you go, hey, you know what? You need to pull up your socks here because that can't happen. Pull up your socks. What am I, 90? Yeah, I know. Didn't our mothers used to say that with a smack in the side of the head?
Pull up your bootstraps. That's
right. But
it's hard having those tough conversations, but it's also part of the job, right? If we're holding back information that is only going to help you, it needs to be said and it needs to be, it needs to be brought to light.
Yeah, I think again, it's just remember that this is a business at the end of the day. Yeah. We can all be friendly and cordial, but at the end of the day, we're trying to build careers. We're trying to make you successful. And ultimately, you're working with me because you trust me to get you there. Trust me, this is what needs to happen.
Yeah. Thank you. We got a couple people asking a similar question about making the decision to join the union. If they're non-union, maybe they're still getting lots of non-union work. What is there anything you can do to help people get into the union? And when is that decision? When should people make that decision?
I think it's a case-by-case basis, really. I think, if someone's being brought in continually by the union casting directors and they finally book their first union thing, I'd say it's probably time to go because you're being brought in, you're being seen, but if you're someone that just booked their first McDonald's commercial and they got, a union credit out of that, have never met any of the union casting directors, have no acting experience on their resume except for maybe, a non-union docudrama, I would suggest maybe holding off and building up that resume a little bit more and trying to get more competitive because depending on your age, you're joining the union, you're going to be up against every other union member that's been in the union since they were 4 and been on every show that's shot here in the last 10 years, depending again on your age. But it's very competitive. It's very, very competitive. And you want to make sure that you're going to be competing, and you don't want to join the union too quickly. And then all of a sudden you stop working and nothing's happening for you. That's the worst for me to see from actors.
Yeah. It's such
and then you think it's your
balance, right?
agent's fault, or you're going to try another
Right.
agent because,
Sure.
all of a sudden, just saying.
It's a really fine balance right now. And look, I would have said maybe 3 years ago, before the lockout of the commercial union commercials, it would have been, let's book a bunch of union commercials, and then you can get your actor card and we can start knocking on the doors of those union casting directors. But it's exceptionally hard right now. And so I mean, I don't think there's any one answer that can be unanimously attributed to everybody's career. I think it does need to be a discussion with your agent. Like, look, realistically, you're booking 5 non-union commercials a year. Do you really want to give up that opportunity and that money just so that you can go and then do one line on Reacher season 3? And, you've got that credit, but that's one line, one day, one job versus the many jobs that you had. But on the other side of it, this is where it becomes complicated, is I feel like a lot of those casting directors aren't considering non-union actors at all, even for those one-line roles, unless they're ACTRA. So it's a tricky thing, and I think it's made more complicated by the climate that we're living in right now. And understanding that there just aren't the opportunities to build ACTRA credits in the same way there was even 3 years ago. But I think that it's something, again, you need to communicate with your agent what your ambitions are and what your expectations are and how you can get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, last year with the writer strike and the actor strike, and then the union lockout with the ad agencies, like there was just so many hits against actor members. It was not a good time to be an actor.
No.
So I know some of my non-union people are like, this is the year I want to do it. And I'm like, now is not the time.
Now is not the time.
No. So I feel like this summer going forward, I feel like this might be the time.
Yeah, hopefully this summer.
Yeah.
We'll see. So much depends on the union advertising. I mean, people have, I've had clients leave the union this year.
Yeah, I did too.
And they've gone non-union, and these were big union people, but they can't live on nothing.
Yeah.
So they want to do the non-union commercials because that's the only thing. Otherwise it's and it's small pickings out there for film and TV. It is. It's not, the occasional guest star role, only if you're really right for it, and they're not going to see hundreds of people for it.
Yeah. I tell my non-union performers, it's like, look, joining the union is great. And maybe it gives you a little bit more clout with those union casting directors, but it doesn't guarantee you a job. The union does not guarantee work. So, again, a fine balance and a thorough discussion of all options if you're making that decision.
And can I just say too, that I feel like with some of these union productions, like, is it just me? Or are we not seeing like a lot more CPIP, low budget, discounts?
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yahoo.
So the short answer is talk to your agent and make that decision carefully and with an informed mind. Now we got a question coming in here. Someone says, how can we make sure we're on our agent's top of mind, and how can we as actors be seen more and be more competitive?
Be seen more by casting directors?
I think so, yeah.
Oh boy.
Well,
that's a loaded question.
it is.
Yeah.
It's a huge question.
I mean, I feel like I get this question every once in a while from clients. It's like, how can I get seen more? It's like, truly, I'm doing everything. You're doing everything. It's sort of, I mean, you should have one of these panel discussions for the casting directors, because I would love to know
Yeah.
how to, get seen more in those scenarios. Look, there's only so many times that your agent can reach out to casting and give a push for you to be seen when you haven't been requested. Because we make our submissions, casting says who they want to see. If I feel very strongly that somebody's been missed, I will make the call, or I'll make the email and give the push. But like we've been saying, it's so busy and there's so much going on that and that balance, that relationship with casting is so important and tender. So you don't want to be just pushing them every single day to see the same person over and over, or your people over and over. You've got to really, it's got to be, I don't know,
it's carefully built, and it's part of what we do is we carefully build these relationships with casting directors. So if you think we're going to bug them for you, it just doesn't work like that. Like it's not about repeating. It's about really believing that you're absolutely right for this role, and we're putting our name behind you by
I was
picking
gonna
up
say
that phone.
It's on us, right?
Right,
It's
it
on
is.
us. It's on our
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Great.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So,
But in terms of getting seen more, just make sure your materials are up to date. Like make sure your headshot looks like you. Make sure your reel is dynamic and shows your best work, or your self-tapes or your training sessions, whatever it is you've got to show who you are. Make sure it's the best it can possibly be. There's nothing worse than a headshot that's 10 years old that doesn't look like you anymore. That doesn't help you get in the door.
Sometimes too, I will, if I see a role that I think is really great for someone and they haven't been called in, I'll get them to just throw it on tape. And then, if I think it's great and worthy, then I will send it. I'll send it off to casting and just like a little intro.
Yeah.
Hey, you haven't seen so-and-so yet. And, here's a great tape. I think this, shows her in a great light. And if, take a look kind of thing. But some casting directors are not open to unsolicited tapes. So it's just kind of, again, finding that balance and, knowing who to send to, who not to. And maybe
especially those big productions. Oh my God. If I sent every single time someone asked to be on The Last of Us,
oh God.
and they are very specifically, do not send us anything. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I won't.
yeah, it will say it on the breakdown too. P.S. Yeah.
No phone calls, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Earlier, Bella, you mentioned, I wish actors understood all the steps involved and all the moving parts. Can you share a sense of like, and I know this is going to change depending on the role and depending on the production and casting director, but do you have a sense of how many submissions for a particular role, how many people they would say yes to, how many get to a callback?
I don't know. I don't have that information. I don't know who does have that information except for the people that work with the casting directors,
Right. Okay.
But, when you just, think about it in terms of how many agents are out there and how many actors are out there. Well, with the actors, that just double it. Like if you think there's 8,000, double that. And it's a numbers game. It really is. And you hope to God, that it's the right role for the right person. And you're behind that actor. You're pushing for that actor because you really believe in them. It just comes down to that. And
I've had a couple of experiences on productions where, I had clients get really, really close on a big role, a series lead or whatever. And casting, would reveal to me at that time, okay, we saw they should be really proud of how far they got because we requested 200 tapes and we watched 20 of them and we had 2 people for callbacks. Like that's truthfully, think about that fraction. Okay, if they requested 200 and they watched less than what they requested, and then even less than that came in for a callback, I mean, that's what you're looking at. So yeah, if there are 24,000 actors in this country and, half of them are being submitted for every time there's a big role, It's a lot.
And even, you know, and even for smaller roles too, it's like, it's like if you've gotten an audition, you've already gone through like a huge editing, you know,
Yeah.
in order to have even gotten that audition. So it means
Yeah.
you've already been picked. They've
Yeah.
said no to a bunch, they've said yes to a bunch, and you're in
Yeah.
that yet. You've already been picked.
Yeah.
So
You've already
don't be-
succeeded.
you
Yeah.
already have. So
Yeah.
don't be
Right.
late
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
be fabulous and bring it hard, because
Cover the
it's-
wall sockets behind you and you're going to be great.
it's nothing in the toilet.
Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the note to everyone, actors here, is know that it's so competitive. So if any audition that you get, you got to make damn sure that you're putting your best effort into that self-tape so that you're not wasting that opportunity and taking those for granted, and just knowing that just to even be seen, just to even have an agent, just to be even submitted, like you're already in the 1% of, if you consider all actors who are dabblers or community theater type people, like, so if you're ever in a situation where you don't put the prep in, you don't put the work in, maybe your tape's technically not great lighting, crappy sound, all of that, you're blowing an opportunity that might change your life. Now
and we see that. Can I just say one more thing about this?
Yes.
Because you know, we see that, but you know, prior to COVID, we didn't know what our clients were doing in the audition room. They were having an audition. We knew their demo tapes. We'd seen them in the show. We've had some conversations, but what were they actually doing? We didn't know. And then all of a sudden COVID hit and it became self-tapes. And boy, I mean, our jobs, well, number one, our jobs got bigger. But then we got, you know, now talk about relationships. Now we have total relationships with our clients because we're watching them and we can see, like, I instantly go, oh, okay, they've been training, they've been studying. I'm seeing growth here. Or, oh, they just pulled this out of their ass. This was last minute. I know this was last minute. It doesn't have there's nothing grounded about it. It's just like whatever. And, you know, so I really note where people are at, and it speaks volumes to me, because I represent them, but they represent me.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
In the next step. So
yeah.
And that
I
is
truthfully kind of love watching self-tapes. I mean, I know there's a lot, but I do really, like Bella said, in those moments where you can see that someone has tapped into something different and has really done a beautiful performance, or has made the effort to really, you know, train and exercise and research what they're doing. Oh man, there's no bigger feeling of pride for me to be able to reach out to casting and say, this is an exceptional tape from so-and-so, please make the time to watch it, you know? And that's all it takes.
Yeah, and that is the good thing about watching self-tapes, is seeing the growth. And, you know, I had a little actor who I thought, oh, she's okay, you know, she's doing all right. But then she got in class, and like watching the progression of the tapes was like, she has really come into herself. Like, I am really impressed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely rewarding to watch that too.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
That we wouldn't see before.
I want to shift a little bit. I know we have some people who are seeking representation or self-represented. So there was a question in here. Where was that one? To someone who has no agent, how can they approach you with representation? Is that social media? Is that email, phone? And then really, what do you require? What do you look for as far as materials? And what are their ducks that need to be in rows to reach out to you?
Do not reach out via social media. Do not DM me ever about representation. You know, I have, you know, because to me, and this is again, me personally, Grand Wave has a website. If you Google Grand Wave, if you Google me, Grand Wave comes up and all of our contact information is there. The emails are right there. And I would say emailing is your first step. Don't cold call an agent and be like, hey, how do I apply to be on your roster? you know how, send us your material so that we can consider you. And that means everything that you would like for consideration, headshots, demos, scene work that you've done in class, anything that you think best represents you. Is it a YouTube sketch that you filmed with some of your friends? That's great. Send that over. And what I would say is more important than, what should I be sending you? Don't ever send a mass email to every agent you've ever learned the email for in a BCC. You have to make it personal because it is a personal relationship. Why do you want to work with me? Why? And why should I want to work with you? You need to show me that you've put in the effort to understand what Grand Wave is about and why you want to work with us. So, maybe drop a few names about like who's on our roster that you think has a great career. And truthfully, that should be who you're reaching out to anyway. Who is on that roster who you might aspire to be like? Or do you see on this roster, hey, they're missing somebody like me. I could fill a gap for them. So that's why I'm going to reach out to that agent. But give a reason why you're reaching out to me. Why do you think we're the right fit for you? Do a little research.
If you're in a theater production or you're doing a stand-up set or there's a reason to reach out to an agent. I think that's always great because that will give us an idea of what you're actually doing and that you are working and you're doing something on your career and you didn't just wake up today saying, I'm going to be an actor.
I'm going to send a mass email to everyone I've ever met. Yeah. No, I love getting invites to I'm going to be in a short film that's part of this festival. I'd love you to come see me. I love that. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Bella, anything you want to add there for people seeking reps?
Well, for me on my website, it's all there. There's a link that you hit and all the information's there. So in fact, if you call me, forget it. I'll just be pissed off.
Yeah. Don't call me on Saturday night.
Oh my God.
Who's calling you on the weekend?
Oh yeah. No,
don't get it.
Or texting. Yeah, it's quite something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of common sense. Like this whole thing is just really common sense. So stop for a second and think about it. It's pretty standard. It's headshot, resume, and any kind of demo material. And the other thing I wanted to add to that is timing is everything. So you can send me something and I'm like, no, you know what? I just don't need that, your type at the moment. My 3 weeks can go by and then all of a sudden you do because, things change. So I would do follow-ups as long as it's not hassling, but it's just swinging back again. If I see an email, I could just be so busy when I'm looking at the first email going, I don't have time for this right now because I'm doing something was important. But if they swing around and go, hey, you know what, I'm circling back, maybe a couple of weeks after, just want to make sure you got my email, I just might be in a better headspace, honestly, and go, okay, let me have a look. Oh, good for them. They followed up. So they didn't just demand something from me immediately and then, right?
Yeah.
And never send anything Monday morning. Monday morning is
Or Friday night.
Yes, Friday night, Monday morning. It will get buried.
Right.
It will get buried.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless you're sending a cappuccino with cinnamon extra high. Thank you.
Wednesday at 11:15 a.m. ET is the perfect time to send that email.
From 11:15 to 11:21, there's a 6-minute window.
That's the window. That's when I mentally take a break.
That's right.
Aaron Reed, I just want to ask, we've been doing our best to cover these questions in the chat. Do you see any other final questions? I want to be respectful of the three of your times here, and I think we were looking at an hour here. Anything that we missed?
I see a question. I don't want to step on anyone's toes if they're handling.
Go for it.
But there was a question about, can your Toronto-based agent submit you anywhere? I mean, it depends on the agency, right? There are a lot of agencies, like I know the Characters has multiple offices across the country. I guess it would be a conversation to have with whoever you're working with or whoever you are meeting with. Ask them, hey, do you have reach in Vancouver where they're filming, every single HBO show ever made? Do you have access to Calgary where they film Heartland? Do you have access to Newfoundland where they film Hudson and Rex? Like, ask those questions. And again, I would say it's incumbent upon you to do the research and know where some of those projects are shot.
But also sometimes too with those, like some shows that are shot in BC, for example, they need the tax credits. So they need to know that you're paying BC taxes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can't always submit you to places or to shows in Vancouver or
Yeah, not
Halifax
always.
because they have to show that you're paying taxes in that area.
It's the same for Toronto. I have, clients who are based in Vancouver who are like, hey, I want to come in. I'll do anything. I'll do a day player on XYZ. And it's like, they need you to pay Ontario taxes. So I'm sorry, like you offering to fly out here isn't what they need.
Yeah, that's right.
Great.
But yeah, ask those questions because every agency I imagine is different.
Great. Erin, anything we missed?
Yes, at first I just want to give a shout out to everybody. You're asking so many great questions, and I'm sorry we just didn't have time to get to all of these questions today. But one that I find particularly interesting that we haven't touched on yet says, I often hear that actors should write their own material. How do you navigate your relationship with your clients when they're creating their own films?
Oh, I mean, I think that's going to be specific to an agent who is representing not only your acting aspirations, but your literary aspirations is what it would fall under at Grand Wave. So I don't know if that's appropriate to answer here, but again, it's all just communication with your agent about what your aspirations are. If you want to produce a film, start talking to your agent right off the bat, saying, hey, I have aspirations to write, and see if that's something that they can even help you with, because not every agency has the capacity.
I think it's great if you want to write your own material. That's amazing. I think that shows like you're in for it. You're not just sitting back and waiting for the phone to ring, you're going out there and being proactive. And I think it's great. I encourage that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But you're right. There are agents that are specifically for that. And that's probably what I would say to you is, I don't handle literary, so that might be something that you should look into, and I can give you a couple of suggestions or things like that. But
if we're talking about like,
using me as a resource.
If they're like, oh, I wrote this sketch and I want to go film it with some friends so that you can use it as part of my demo, then yes, that's great. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Right. Great. Well, we are at 3:00 for all of our actor guests. If you're not a member of Actors Audition Club yet, you can stick around for a couple minutes. I'm going to fill you in on a special offer where you can get a free coach and shoot session with one of our coaches.
You're so lucky.
Yeah, I want to be respectful of your time for the three of you. Thank you so much for being here. I deal with, I'm represented by Bella, so I deal with Bella all the time and love you, Bella. And I work with actors on all of your rosters who always say great things about you. And I see how much you care about your agent, about your roster. And I think you've demonstrated that today with your answers and for even being here. So thank you for that. Any final parting words of advice?
Kudos to you too, Lars, because truly the Actors Audition Club is fantastic. And I truly recommend you to all of my clients when they have big auditions that they need to do. So I really appreciate you, supporting my roster as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like we're a wing of Grand Wave. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll merge at some point and take over the country.
All right. Thank you so much. Any final thoughts, Bella, Amy?
Keep on trucking. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough industry and it can get you down sometimes, but you just have to keep, like Bella said, keep trucking. It's just it's what is it saying? It's a marathon, not a race.
Right.
Marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah. Yes, that's it. Yes.
Yeah. And train, and don't you know, to be like to have those star aspirations are great, but don't forget the process of getting there. If you want to get there too quick, it's going to be it's tougher.
Right.
It's tougher. You
There's-
got to
there's
fall
nothing
in love
worse
with the
than-
process.
There's
Yeah.
nothing worse than an actor, putting themselves out for like a really big tape that, they're not quite ready for. And then the casting is kind of left with that taste in their mouth about you. And you don't want to do that. You want to, put yourself forward when the time is right and when you've kind of earned that.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. We'll let you guys go back. I'm sure
right.
you missed 1,000
Adios.
emails in the hour that you've been here, but thank you so much, guys. Have a great
Thank you
day.
very much for having me. Thanks,
Of
guys.
course. Yeah, our
Bye,
pleasure.
everyone.
Thank you. Yeah. Great. All right, actors who are still kicking around here, thank you for joining us today. Just so you know, I know we've got members of Actors Audition Club on the call. For those of you who are not yet a member of Actors Audition Club, we do these workshops every single month. We rotate the topic every month. This month was agents. Sometimes it's casting directors, producers. Sometimes it's a special workshop put on by our performance coaches. And you can join Actors Audition Club. We're going to do a special offer for any of you on the call. We'd invite you to join, and you'll be able to attend these every single month. Plus, you're going to get monthly Q&A calls. You're going to get access to our online training vault of actor training materials. You'll get access to our performance coaches where you can book us to help you with your next self-tape. We work in person here in Toronto, and we also connect remotely with actors all over the world, and we've got members all over the world. And the special offer that I want to drop in the chat here is any of you who want to join, I'll drop the link, and we'll do a special bonus where everyone who joins before midnight tonight, we're going to give you a free coach and shoot self-tape session with one of our coaches. What does that mean? That's an hour-long session, about 40 to 45 minutes on camera with a coach. There'll be your reader, your director, coach. We handle the editing and the file transfer so that all you got to do is show up and play and have fun and do your work as the actor. I'm going to drop that link in the chat. The special offer for those of you who are here today is that when you do enroll, we'll give you a bonus of your first coach and shoot session free, which is normally $89 to work with one of our coaches. But when you do enroll tonight before midnight, we'll throw in that freebie. So I'm going to drop the chat there. Great question. Patricia asked why the cost is in US dollars. The reason is we've got members all over the world internationally, and I think the international currency that people are used to is US dollars. We've got members in New York, in LA. Of course, I'm currently based in Canada, but our payment platforms allow us to choose one currency or the other. And we did, when we were faced with this, we lowered the cost of the membership in US dollars to account for the difference. So it used to be, I think, $49 or $47 Canadian. Right now it's $37 US. And that, again, gives you access every single month. You can attend these workshops, sometimes as agents, sometimes casting directors, producers, sometimes guest industry coaches. That gives you access to our monthly Q&A panels, our online training vault of training videos, also our online private community of actors where you can collaborate and connect with other members in the community, and also gives you access to book our coaches anytime you need a self-tape done. Office hours, Aaron's mentioning. Once a month, we're just make ourselves available. So if you have any industry questions, audition questions about how to get the most out of your membership with us, we do that on a monthly basis too. The link that I just dropped in here, I'll drop it again. That'll take you to the checkout, and it does list everything that's included. What will not be included, or what you won't see there, is the bonus of the free session. So once you enroll, anyone who rolls today before midnight will reach out. We'll give you a promo code so that you can get your first session free. If anyone has any specific questions about Actors Audition Club, I'm happy to mention those and to answer those questions now. Other than that, we are recording this, or we have recorded this, so we will make the replay available. Yeah, we'll make the replay available to anyone who registered today. Patricia says, thank you so much. As you know, I've used your services quite a few times and was so pleased. So it's $37 in Canadian, I think is about $46 right now. Sean Brow, can the membership delay to next month? If you reach out to me personally, we could figure something out where we can give you this offer, but delay a payment for you. We're flexible with those, and we know that every actor's got different financial circumstances coming up. So you can reach out to me, Sean, if you want to do that. I'll drop that link in the chat one more time. Thank you so much, guys. This has been great. So we will see you next month. Next month, the focus is going to be casting directors. So any of you who have joined us by next month, you'll be able to attend that one for free as part of your membership. And we'll have a panel of casting directors. So any of the questions that you didn't get answered by agents, hop on board and we'll help you next month with casting directors. And again, what do? We help actors shoot standout auditions so that you can be booking lead roles in dream projects. Christine says she's waiting for income tax rebate. So yeah, now's the time. And just my encouragement to you guys, they mentioned it's so competitive. This industry is so competitive. You never know. Your next audition that you get might be the opportunity that when you book it changes your life for you and for your family and even for your friends around you. So working with a team of coaches to make sure that you're submitting your best every time. Yeah, it's an investment to do that, but you want to look at the payoff. What's the return on working with a coach? The return might be 5 figures, 6 figures, eventually long-term 7 figures in your career. So I would look more so than, well, what is the money to work with a coach? Look at what is the opportunity that you might be missing out if you don't submit your best every time. You can go to actorsauditionclub.com. You can see the testimonials from our members. We've had many members with us today too. So we're happy to keep working with you and we invite you to join this community. So it's great. All right. Christine Danduran says, yes, $37 US is the monthly membership. That includes the monthly workshops, the monthly office hours Q&A, the online training directory with all of our videos that we put up there, the online community that you have access to ask questions of us and other members online, and gives you access to book our coaches for your self-tapes when you need help. All right. We good? Everybody good? I'm looking at the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Look out for the replay. If you missed some of this, we'll send out the replay and I'll drop that link to take advantage of that special offer. You join before midnight, we'll add a free session for you as well. So what that means is when you join tonight before midnight, the next audition that you get from your agent on the house, you can connect with one of our coaches and we'll help you make sure that that you submit the best take that you could possibly submit and book the job. Great. All right. Thank you so much. This is amazing. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, everybody. This was great.
Yeah, it was great. And one more time, thank you to those, to Amy, to Bella, and Carolyn. They were fantastic today. So, and they were not paid to be here. That was a volunteer thing, and their time was money. So they do it because they love actors and they love helping, and so do we here at Actors Audition Club.
Yeah, what a gift. What a treat.
Great. Yeah, it was lots of fun. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Lars, do we have a coupon code? There's a coupon code?
No, there isn't. It's not a coupon code. We'll just know any of them that come in tonight. We'll reach out with a promo code for that bonus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyone who enrolls before midnight tonight, you'll get that free session and we'll follow up with you on that. Amazing. Thank you. That is all.
Thank you.
Keep on trucking. All right. Bye-bye.